Hey everyone, this is Joe and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about how wide and inclusive is your circle of compassion. Because I believe that an enlightened person has a very wide circle of compassion. But I want to start off by saying what compassion isn't. Okay, so having compassion for someone, it doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you support their actions. It doesn't mean you like them. It doesn't mean you would want to hang out with them and be friends with them. Compassion is something much deeper than this, right? So compassion just means that on a fundamental level, you recognize that suffering is universal, and even someone who you may not like or you may not agree with or you may have disdain for, you recognize that the universal suffering exists in them too. And just that on a fundamental level, this person or this animal suffers. Because I think there's a human tendency to only sort of recognize the suffering of people we like or people we agree with. And we only see their suffering as valid. So if I'm a Democrat and, I don't like Republicans, then I'm going to recognize the suffering of Democrats. But I'm going to be less likely to recognize and validate the suffering of Republicans because I don't like them and I don't think their suffering is valid. But I think that, again, the mark of an enlightened mind is the ability to have fundamental compassion for anyone. And I think you sort of have a spectrum here. And at one end, you have people who they can only have compassion for people who are exactly like them, who agree with them politically, who agree with them on religion, who, maybe look like they do. Maybe if you're a man, you don't have compassion for women, or if you're a woman, you don't have compassion for men, right? But, there's all sorts of different ways that this sort of manifests itself, and if you really think about what does it mean to be judgmental is basically to deprive someone of fundamental empathy and sympathy, So it's like, can you have compassion for a criminal? Can you have compassion for a serial killer? Can you have compassion for an animal? Can you have compassion for, Vladimir Putin? Can you have and again, that doesn't mean justifying his actions, right? That doesn't mean that he's, not a highly unenlightened person. But I think that enlightened people can see the humanity in everyone. And it's like, if you're a Republican, can you have compassion for Democrats? If you're a man, can you have compassion for women? If you're an atheist, can you have compassion for a Christian? If you're a Christian, can you have compassion for a Muslim? And again, you might not agree with them, but you can have disagreements. You can dislike them. You can not want to be friends with them. But if we all had a little bit more fundamental compassion, that I think probably the world would be a better place. As a woman, can you have compassion for a creepy man? as a man, can you have compassion for a woman who rejected you? So, So anyway, I hope this was maybe useful to someone, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.